वर्णिवेशरमणीयदर्शनं मन्दहासरुचिरार्णनाम्बुजं पूजितं सुरनरोत्तमैर्मुदा धर्मनन्दनमहं विचिन्तये धर्मनन्दनमहं विचिन्तये। बोलो श्री घनश्याम महाराजनी जय। श्री हरि कृष्ण महाराजनी जय। श्री ठाकुर जी महाराजनी जय। श्री सद्गुरु देवनी जय। Supreme Almighty, our beloved Thakur Ji Maharaj, pathmaker to our liberation, Pujyapat Guruji, and all the other Sadguru Santos who gifted us the matchless gift in the form of Pujya Guruji, meaning all the Sadgurus of Muktanandiya Parampara, from Muktanand Swami to our Pujya Dada Guruji. We bow down to all those Sadgurus and our Pujya Guruji's lotus feet. And with that, let we start today's Katha. We know the importance of the Chaturmas. Why? Because during the Chaturmas, meaning during the 4 months of this season, it's not the season of monsoon or summer or something else, but this is the season for performing extra devotion to please Bhagwan and Ekantik Satpurus. That is why these 4 months have more important for us in our spiritual life, in our satsang. Moreover, there were many festivals and celebrations in our satsang also happen during these 4 months. During these 4 months, we are fortunate enough to celebrate most the festivals, like that of Guru Purnima. After that, Janmashtami, meaning Krishna Janmashtami. Many other festivals up to the Diwali and New Year's according to Indian calendar. But during these 4 months, if one cannot perform, it is stated in the Siksapatri as well. Like during these 4 months, who is unable to perform the niyams, meaning the extra niyams which was described in the Siksapatri by Sriji Maharaj himself, then Sriji Maharaj says one should perform those niyams for 1 month, meaning for the month of Shravan, which also included in the Chaturmas. So, from the 9th August up to 7th September, this duration, this period of 30 days is considered for this year 2021 as Shravan Mas. And during this Shravan Mas, we should perform our additional niyam perfectly, only to please Bhagwan and his Ekantik Satpurus. I know many of our devotees, many of our Kishore Bhaktos, they are performing Dharanaparnas, some are performing Chandrayans during this month of Shravan. The other devotees, maybe other kids Bhaktos, they are also performing some other niyams or any kind of top or something like Vrat, Ektana or something. They are performing for this month. But for those who are not in Swaminarayan Sampradaya or for the other Hindus, for them the importance of Shravan Mas is equal whatever we understood the importance of this month. Why? Because this month is pious according to our ancient scriptures. And during this month, for the whole month, the people in India and everywhere, If they have the chance to perform the pujan of Shivji, they perform the pujan of Shivji. Not only that, but even in the 149th verse of the Siksapatra, Shivji Maharaj himself gave us command to perform Shivji's pujan during the Shravan Mass by using the leaves of the bilva tree. So, according to this, all the devotees of Bhagwan Swaminarayan also perform the pujan of Shivji during this month of Shravan. Not only that, but we have a question arise in our mind, what Shivji has contributed for our Ishtadev, meaning Bhagwan Swaminarayan. So there was the incident when Bhagwan Swaminarayan himself was traveling in the form of Nilkantha from one place to another in the jungle. So at that time, once Nilkantha didn't get food for 5 days. So he had to do fast for 5 days. And as without food and water for 5 days, and his journey continued, meaning he was walking. So once after 5 days, he fell unconscious. When he regained the consciousness, at that time, he found a water pool near and he took bath and he took a saligram, a form of Vishnu, which was made of stone. So he performed the pujan of that saligram, and after that, in this way, he, even though he didn't get food or water for 5 days, still he took a bath and performed the pujan of saligram and worship it. But he couldn't satisfy. Why? Because he couldn't find anything to offer the form of God, meaning the saligram. So after some time, Shivji himself came along with Parvati, divinely appeared over there, and at the time they performed seva of Nilkantha, meaning they provided food to Nilkantha. As Nilkantha was performing penance and not eating a delicious food, so Shivji offered Nilkantha very simple food in the form of sattva. So at the time, Nilkantha had decided, today you have given me this food. I promise you, when I finish my journey and when I become the head of the sect, and at the time one after one I build the temples, and one of the temples I install your murti, and my devotees, my followers, they would perform your pujan every day, as well as they perform you all delicious food, different delicious food every day to you. So according to this incident of service for our Nilkantha Maharaj, Shivji was worshipped in our sampradaya. Moreover, Shivji had also give some guidance to many of devotees towards Bhagwan Swaminarayan. Our Pujya Dada Guruji was also the devotee of Shivji, meaning he was also performing pujan every day into the temple of Shivji in his childhood village Limadra. Without fail, he was perform pujan of Shivji every day. But later on, Shivji himself gave him a dream, came into his dream in the Junagadh Mandir, and he himself informed Dada Guruji that I am merely the servant of Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord is none other than the Bhagwan Swaminarayan. So in this way, Shivji led the devotees towards Bhagwan Swaminarayan. Moreover, the another devotee at the time of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, we are talking one of such devotee who was led by Shivji, meaning who was formerly worshipped Lord Shivji, meaning who was the follower and devotees of Lord Shiv, and Shivji himself led that devotee towards Bhagwan Swaminarayan. Yes, I am talking about Punja Dodia, who was devotee from the village of Panvi. He was, before he joined the satsang, he had decided to end his life because he failed to find God. No doubt he worshipped Shivji every day. He was a devotee of Lord Shiva, but still he was not satisfied. He wanted to meet God face to face. And that's why he decided, after many days of his worshipping, when he didn't get any experience of the God, then he decided to end his life. And for that purpose, once he went to the Kodiak beach, where he found a shivling in the water. The shivling would become submerged when tidal waves would come and then emerge back when the waves would regress. So there were many such temples in India, like in ancient times. The people, those ancient people, they have established such temples of Lord Shiva in such a way that when on the bank of the ocean, meaning on the beach, in such a way that when the tide comes, meaning the water level increases, the shivling merge into the water, meaning go behind the level of the water. And when the tides went back, meaning the water level decreased, then one can get the darshan of the shivling. Not only this, only single shivling, meaning temple on Kodiak beach, but many other places have the same kind of temples, meaning half a temple remain under the water. So Punja Rudia had decided to end his life. So the shivling would. So Punjapat went near the shivling and started worshipping it. He thought, I have waited many years without getting darshan of God, so it is better to die than to live without God. Then Punja Rudia grabbed and held onto the shivling, hoping that the tidal waves would submerge and kill him. You can find the image of this shivling on Kodiak beach. Like when you search on Google the word Kodiak beach, then you immediately got the image of this shivling and what kind of situation happened there. So what Punja Bhagat did, he grabbed the shivling with both of his hands. He held tightly and he decided to end his life. Why? Because when the tide come, meaning the level of the water increase, and he without taking air, and when the water come over above his body, and he would be die. So thinking this, he grabbed the shivling tightly. But what happened? However, to his surprise, the powerful tidal waves threw him a half-mile downshore. Why? Because nothing happened without the will of God. Not even the single dry leaf can move from one place to another without the wishes of God. So again, as a second attempt to end his life, he walked towards the powerful tidal waves, but he was thrown back to the coast. Again, his trial, meaning again his practice, meaning his endeavor failed. Why? Because that was not the wishes of God. And that is why Sriji Maharaj himself read down in the Siksapatri, even in any tough or adverse circumstances, my disciple should never try to kill himself, meaning never try to do suicide. So Punja Bhagat thought for a while, why this happened? I am trying to kill myself and these waves throw me back. to the sword. Why this happened? But he couldn't understand anything. And then, all of a sudden, he heard a divine voice from the sky. God has incarnated and you will meet him. First, you will meet his sadhus at your village. Bhagwan Swaminarayan is the Supreme Lord who has manifested on this earth. Go and surrender to him. He will accept you as his devotee. Do not end your life. So this is the voice from the sky. Punjab Bhagat first watched here, there, everywhere. No one was there. He was alone. Then he thought again in his mind, this is definitely the voice from the God. This is the message of God. And that's why, even though I am trying to kill myself, meaning I am trying to suicide, I am trying to commit suicide, and still the powerful waves throw me out of the ocean. This is the wishes of Bhagwan. Now, accepting those words, those divine words he had heard, he became happy. Now, the grief, the sorrow, which had covered his mind and brain, now disappeared. He was relaxed because now he definitely would have darshan of Bhagwan. So now, while thinking this way and become joyful, he left for his village and he came back to the Panvi. So what happened in the Panvi? When he reached the Panvi, he found Swaminarayan saints. He prostrated before the saints and requested to be initiated into the satsang fellowship. Then he narrated in detail the incident that happened at Kodiak beach. So when Punjab Bhagat reached to his village, he found Swaminarayan saints in the village. He met the santos, he prostrated before them, he bowed down to them. He requested, please, Santo, come to my house and bless my home. So the santos went to his house. There, Punjab Bhagat explained in detail what had happened to the Kodiak beach, meaning when he tried to commit suicide and the divine voice come from the sky that Bhagwan Swaminarayan is already manifested on this earth and you will meet him. And first you got darshan and meeting of his sadhus in your village. So now you are the saints of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, and I got that the Bhagwan Swaminarayan is the Supreme Lord who has manifested in human form on this earth. So please initiate me into your satsang fellowship. He also explained how the divine voice informed him of their arrival to the Panvi and invited the saints to his home for food. So now he requested santos for staying to his home and take some food. The saints told him about the glory of Sriji Maharaj and inspired him to follow the divine path of satsang. And Punjab Bhagat became a devotee of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. So merely by the darshan of santos, Punjab Bhagat decided, like he had understood the glory of the divine voice, meaning he understood the divine voice from the sky at the Kodiak beach was true. Why? Because in the divine voice it is said that the Swaminarayan Santos would be there into your village. When you reach your village, they would be there. So Punjab Bhagat found the Santos, and that's why he became a devotee of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. Moreover, with the Santo, Punjab Bhagat went to the Gadra, and There he received the darshan of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. He had like no limits of his joy when he got the darshan of Bhagwan. Why? Because from the beginning he decided to get the darshan of Bhagwan face to face. And if he would fail to get the darshan for many years, then he decided to commit suicide. Then after his try to commit suicide, when God himself made him face to face, then there was no limit of his joy. The tears coming out of his eyes, rolling down towards his cheek, and he became so emotional by getting darshan of Maharaj that he prostrated before Maharaj, and he just it is stated in the Haricharitramrut like that he was staying there in front of Maharaj like it was a statue. He was just doing darshan and tears rolling down from his eyes. This was the situation. Then, after some times, Maharaj fetched his vrutis so that he could come out of the darshan, meaning his mind distracted, and because of that, he came out of his darshan. And then Sriji Maharaj asked him what was his name, even though Bhagwan know everything, but still he asked him, because what was your name and from where you coming, everything. Then again Puja Bhagavad explained everything to Sriji Maharaj, how he became a devotee and what was happened before that. So after this incident, as Punjabakat decided this is the Bhagwan, there is no any other Bhagwan besides this Maharaj. He had decided firmly, meaning conviction developed in his mind. Moreover, as he had firm conviction, firm faith in the form of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, so definitely and without much more effort, he also cultivated the importance and the glory of sadhus as well. He stayed more days in the Gadada and he take the advantage of Santosh Samagam, meaning one after one he sat with all Santos and he learned more and more about Sriji Maharaj's greatness as well as the method of the satsang, meaning the rituals and the code and conducts and everything about this satsang. So in this way, his satsang became stronger and stronger. When he returned to Panvi, he also remembered all those words of the sadhus he had learned for staying more days in the Gadada. Moreover, he also remembered Sriji Maharaj's divine darshan he had got there in the Gadada. Every day new, meaning every day he remembered those darshan of Sriji Maharaj. In this way, gradually his satsang becomes stronger and stronger day by day. Many years passed in this way. He performed devotion for Bhagwan. He even performed service of Santos and the other devotees as well. He attended many samayas and utsavs which held in different places like in Gadada, in Junagadh, in Vartal, in many places he visited also. So he was very well-known character in the satsang, as well as he also became a very staunch devotee of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. And when he heard that Bhagwan Swaminarayan had departed to Akshardham, when in 1886 Sriji Maharaj decided to depart from this earth, and at that time he decided the day, and according to his decision, Sriji Maharaj himself independently went back to his divine Akshardham. So at that time, when the news came to him, Punja Bhagat was working in his farm, and Punja Bhagat felt immense separation. He literally ran towards Gadda from his village. He continuously ran towards Gadda, and when he reached there, he met with Senior Santo. The Santos consoled him. However, due to his intense affection for Sriji Maharaj, he had a loss of appetite. Even though Sriji Maharaj himself gave command to all the Santos and devotees, do not stop to eat after my disappearance. No one should commit suicide. No one should try to commit suicide. Everyone, you should live in your body happily. But Punja Bhagat had too much affection for Sriji Maharaj, and because of that, he couldn't eat anything in the separation of Maharaj. As it is stated in our scriptures that man ki godi Sriji Maharaj used to sit on. So that Manki also didn't eat anything after Sriji Maharaj's departure. And in the same way, Punja Bhagat also, because of loss of appetite, he couldn't eat anything. Not only that, for 13 days, as it is stated in our scriptures, Manki Gori didn't eat anything for 13 days. In the same way, Punja Bhagat didn't eat anything for 12 days and performed seva for saints and devotees. As there were many saints and devotees gathered there in Gadda. So for 13 days, Punja Bhagat, without eating anything, without water, without food, he performed manual service for santos and devotees. And after that, on the 13th day of Sriji Maharaj's departure, he left his physical body and went to Akshardham. Manki Godi also didn't eat anything, and it had also stopped to drink water even. And on the 13th day of from the departure of Sriji Maharaj, Manki Godi also went to Akshardham. In the same way, Punja Bhagat also, without eating and drinking anything for 12 days and performed service for all the santos and devotees, he also left his physical body and went to the divine abode of Akshardham. This is the story of Punja Bhagat. What we can learn from this story? We should try to develop the same affection for Sriji Maharaj's divine form, so that at least we can sit in front of Sriji Maharaj's form. Sometimes we also try to do this darshan in the same way Punja Bhagat did. We should have the devotion and affection for Sriji Maharaj in the same way. Like in the separation of Sriji Maharaj, we should at least cry. Not only that, but even though he had too much affection for Sriji Maharaj, still he was performing manual service for santos and devotees. So he also understood the same amount of importance of santos and devotees as he understood the importance of Sriji Maharaj. So we should also have the same kind of mahima for santos and devotees along with the affection and devotion for Sriji Maharaj. So by listening this incident of Punja Bhagat, we can try to imbibe his virtues into our own life, so that just as Sriji Maharaj and all the santos and devotees become pleased upon him, the same way we can also get the Rajipo of our Sadgurus of our Parampara, meaning Muktanand Swami, Adharanand Swami, Haripriyadasji Swami, Vaikuncharandaji Swami, Narayan Sarupdasji Swami, our Pujya Dada Guruji, and of course of our Pujya Guruji and all the other our present Loyadham Parivar Santo and Bhakto. We do not want to stop, eat or drink, but we want to perform the same amount of devotion for Bhagwan. We do not need to leave our body, but we need to live for Bhagwan, Santo and Bhakto. We need to live for Loyadham. If we try to perform this devotion in this way, then Bhagwan, Puja Guruji, all the santos and devotees, they would become pleased upon us, and because of their Rajipo, we will definitely cultivate the same amount of devotion and affection for the form of Sriji Maharaj. Let us pray to our dearest form, Thakurji Maharaj, our Adi Gurudev Muktanand Swami, Adharanand Swami, up to our Puja Dada Guruji and our Puja Guruji's lotus feet, that please grant us the same amount of devotion and affection for Sriji Maharaj. And just as Punja Bhagat has the same amount of mahima for santos and devotees, the same way we can also get the same amount of mahima and mahima of santo and bhakto in our life as well, along with the affection and devotion for Sriji Maharaj. With this prayer, my humble Jai Swaminarayan. Shri Ghanshyamprakashdasji Jai, Shri Patim Sridharam Sarvadeveshwaram Bhaktidharmatmajam Vasudevam Harim Madhavam Keshavam Kamadam Karanam Swaminarayanam Neelakantham Bhaja. Shri Ghanshyamprakashdasji Jai.